All right, so we're here with Jordan Allen, who's a candidate for Cheyenne City Council in Ward 1. Jordan,
Yes.
welcome. Glad to have you with us.
Nice to have you.
I'm Brian Martin. I'm the managing editor here at the Wyoming Tribune Eagle, and we have a couple of community reps on our editorial board with us.
I'm Sharon Fain with Black Hills Energy.
Bob Feck, Cheyenne Animal Shelter.
All right.
Again, thanks for being here. We'll get right started with what specific issues or concerns caused you to run for the city council this year?
One of the main issues was potholes. Our streets look terrible. And, especially where I live in Ward 1, they're everywhere. And it seems like the only place they put attention to is Snyder Avenue, where there's a lot of other streets that need to be repaired in this area.
Any other issues or concerns that caused you to run?
Downtown, I'd like to see more businesses down there. I'd like to see more businesses in town as a whole. This town's growing, and we need things for people to do here and places people can work.
What qualifications do you bring to the table that you feel would make you a good member of the city council?
I'm a lifetime resident. I've lived and worked here my entire life. I kind of know what the problems of our community is. I've lived in Ward 1. I know what goes on there.
And what do you do for a living? You mentioned to us you came right over.
Yeah, I'm a kitchen manager over at the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay. How does your knowledge of Cheyenne, how do you think that would serve you in being a city council member in terms of what they do?
Well, I live here, I work here, I spend my money here. I do a lot of things around town, and I know people here.
And Jordan, commend you for working with the Boys and Girls Club. What a great
Thank you.
organization. Do you do any other volunteer work in town, or are you?
Not at the moment, no. I volunteered at Comic-Con and some other things.
What do you believe is the biggest challenge facing the city?
The biggest challenge is getting a lot of the things we need to get done with the budget crunches coming up. Repairing roads with less money and enticing businesses here with, less money for incentives, things of that nature.
And what are some other challenges that you think the city faces?
Let me see other challenges. I think money's the major problem right now. And
So how would you address the issue? Let's go back to your number one concern is potholes.
Yes.
You recognize that we have a limit of funds. Do you have some ideas how to address that?
I think it'd have to go on our penny tax. I think we'd have to have a tax for that.
Can you describe your vision for Cheyenne?
I'd like to see Cheyenne grow. It's already growing, and I just foresee it getting a lot bigger within the next 5 to 10 years. I see a lot of people moving here. I see a lot of people from up north that lost oil jobs moving to Cheyenne. I see a lot of people from Colorado that cannot afford it moving down here. And we need to have a structure in place for when that happens.
What's the city council's role in that? What would you do as a council member? What do you think the council should do?
Help, entice businesses to come here, create jobs, that would create more money into the city, create employment for people who will most likely be moving here.
You talked about the folks moving here from Colorado, and affordability here and energy workers. Do you think housing could be a challenge here?
Definitely. We're going to have to, housing is more affordable here than in Colorado, fortunately now. But, with more people that could spike, we're definitely going to need more affordable housing.
What do you think the community doesn't have, Jordan, that it needs, and how would you go about getting that for Cheyenne?
I think there's certain businesses that this community definitely needs. We just lost a sporting goods store here. We don't have electronics store here. If you want to buy a 4K TV, where would you go? You have to go to Colorado. We have high-end furniture stores here, but we don't have any basic things. We need more businesses like that where people can shop.
So let's stick with the electronic stores for just a second.
Okay.
How should we get that here? Do you have an idea how to do that?
The same way we get Walmart and other places to come here. We have a need. We'd have to entice the business to come here, show that we have a demographic that needs things here. I mean, we have a lot of people in this town that obviously have to go to Fort Collins every time they want to get something. And so we just have to show that demographic and entice people that they can open a business here and it will flourish, because we have a lot of people that, basic needs. They have to go to Colorado to go shopping still.
What are your priorities for economic development?
Priorities for economic development. Let me think about that here. I think if we create businesses, that would get people spending money here. Another thing, things like Comic-Con. If we have other events here, and I think we're able to now. I mean, for years, people said Frontier Days was the only thing we could have here, that we weren't big enough, we couldn't hold other venues here. But then we had Comic-Con, and that was huge. I volunteered there, and just leaving, every license plate was Colorado, different states, different areas. People will come here if we have an event. And that brings money, that brings people spending, and we can do it.
So you see a lot of potential for those kind of events?
Yes.
Do you think that we have the facilities that will support those, or do you think we need any additional facilities?
The facilities we have are fine. I would like to see, like I said in my interview before, a different venue, like for concerts, things of that nature. If you look at the Moxie Theater in Greeley, that holds like roughly about 400 people, and it's built for concerts. Obviously, we're not going to get big names here. We're not going to get like Jay-Z and Beyonce on a Tuesday night here, but there are like second tier groups that continuously tour and do shows like that, and people will come.
And our Civic Center is not the right venue for that?
I don't believe so, no.
Why is that?
I think it's good for like plays, theater, but not for like a concert venue.
How do you feel about the future of downtown, including the downtown core project and the West Edge project?
I think it's looking great. I think if they continue with that, the West Edge, I mean, it looks promising. A lot of cities are doing it, and it's about time that we get on with that, and we bring a lot more people downtown.
Would you use taxpayer dollars to help with developing the West Edge or downtown?
I think eventually that would be a need. I think if we want to grow as a community, we're going to have to spend the money. But with that, we will see the rewards of it.
The Children's Museum's proposed for the whole downtown. First of all, do you support the museum, and do you support the possible use of taxpayer money to?
Oh, definitely. I think it'd be a great addition to our city. It's something that's needed, something families and children would enjoy, which is something we definitely need in this town.
So you're okay with taxpayer money?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Okay. And do you have a preference, an idea between the sixth penny, partial seventh penny? There's been talk about that, or does it matter as long as?
I think 6 penny would be good.
The seventh penny is supposed to be economic development. So just in general, we have a fifth penny tax that we hope we keep. We have a sixth penny tax that people hope we keep. What do you think about putting another 1/4%, 1/2 cent on as a tax?
Like, again, I think it would be beneficial. I think at first people wouldn't like it. But as I said before, I think sometimes you need to spend money in order to make money here. And after we would have the taxes, I think the community as a whole would see the reward.
Jordan, you probably know the city owns the Belvoir Ranch and bought it a few years ago as a possible location for a landfill. Now there's a lot of talk and push to get some recreational opportunities going on there. Would that be a priority for you, and how big of a priority compared to some other things would that be?
I've heard a lot of people talk about different things for the rec center and for a landfill. I think they're both needed. I think we'd have to see in the future what would be the best. Talking with people in the community, possibly seeing where our needs are. I know our landfill is almost full. I think we do truck a lot of our trash to Colorado as it is. I think that may be more important than a rec center at this time, because we do have other recreational things in this town. I mean, we have a YMCA, we have a swimming pool, we have parks, we have, community things. I think a rec center is needed, but I think a landfill may be more important.
And just so I'm clear, maybe I didn't explain well, there's it's called the Belvoir Ranch. It's a piece of property that the city bought
Yes.
several years ago. It's west of town, south of the interstate. There's plans for hiking trails, horseback riding trails, that sort of thing, but there's no public access to that piece of land right now. Do you think there should be, and is that something the city should spend its money on?
I think eventually, I think we'll have to see where the city's moving. I think the community and the people could get a lot of benefit out of it.
But right now, no? Or there
Right now, no. I think it may be a little too expensive right now with some of the things that we have going on.
What kind of things do you think are bigger priorities right now?
I think the biggest priority right now are the roads. Our streets are terrible. I mean, you can't drive like a block without hitting a pothole. Our streets are awful.
Any other things that you think the city should be spending its money on?
I like the downtown development. I think we need to continue with that.
Do you think the city's spending too much money? Should it be saving more, or is it about right?
I think it's about right for right now.
You know that the council took $312,000 out of reserves on Monday night for a pay increase for city employees, 2.5%. Do you have any thoughts about that action?
I mean, people who are working existing jobs, I mean, they deserve a pay increase.
To keep young families, young professionals in Cheyenne, what kind of things do you think Cheyenne needs that it doesn't have right now?
To keep families here, definitely more opportunities for families to do. The Children's Museum would be a great start. Also, as I've said before, other community events like Comic-Con, like our Zombie Day, things of that nature, to get the community involved, get people downtown. Different shows, different theaters. I think that'd be more than beneficial to this town. Not just for families, but for adults as well. I remember when we used to have a thriving nightlife in this town when I was in my 20s. That's gone downtown. If we could get that back, you'd see a lot more money in this town.
There's general fund money and fifth penny sales tax money that the city, through the United Way, supports a lot of the nonprofits in the community. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that's great. We need nonprofit organizations to help people in this community. That's something we should continue doing.
Jordan, there's been talk about an anti-discrimination ordinance that the city council is considering passing. Do you support that idea?
Yes, I do.
And why is that?
People shouldn't be discriminated against because of their, race or sexual preference or things of that nature. And that's things that we need to look out for to protect our citizens.
So you think the council should take an action?
Oh,
to
definitely,
improve that?
yes.
Okay.
You think it's better for the council to do that or for the state to do it?
It'd be better for the state, but if the state's not picking that up, the council should, to make our city better.
Guys have any other questions? Jordan, is there anything you'd like to tell us that we didn't ask you with our questions? Anything about your campaign or why you're running?
I think I explained everything, and in my interview before too. So I think everything's gone pretty well. This interview went pretty well.
Okay.
You out there knocking on doors?
I've been starting to.
For you. Well, thanks for running and thanks for taking the time to come and visit
Thank
with
you.
us today. I really
All right.
appreciate it.